Good morning, guys. Happy Friday. Well, it's Friday. Happy is happy is kind of up to each one of us to figure out. So this is kind of interesting. Y'all know I told you guys a couple of days ago we started the work for doing a pond here in the yard, and the more I read, the more I research, the more I'm seeing how freaking important this can possibly be for me, anybody around here. Okay. Don't have to tell anybody out west about the drought that's going on. It's basically been going on for the last 11 years, since 2011. And as much as everybody wants to call it conspiracy theory or whatever about the weather manipulation for the reason for the droughts, I'm sorry. You don't have droughts this long. And I mean, the period from 2020 to 2021 was one of the worst droughts of all. And here we go, into 2022. Is this going to be any better? But water, in any way you can possibly figure out to store it, save it, whatever, is crucial. Not only for those people on the West Coast or the western half of the country because of the drought, but eventually that's going to affect those of us on the eastern half of the country, because guess what they're going to wind up doing? Transferring water from the east to the west. All those of you guys up by the Great Lakes, hey, we've got the largest freshwater reservoir in the world. Yeah, okay. You can bet that that's going to start being pumped out and somehow shipped west. Okay, cars, railroad cars, or cars, trucks, railroad cars. Hell, that pipeline they'd probably be thrilled to build. But this came out in the news yesterday. According to Arizona, we're going to have to live with less water. Now, apparently, there is a directive that has to be answered by today, okay, in how Arizona and other western states are going to respond to an emergency request by the federal government to delay water deliveries from the Colorado River, okay? Now, that means get a little bit more water into Lake Powell. Why is that important? Okay, now I'm going to show you a map here real quick. Lake Powell, okay, is there on the Arizona-Utah border. And Colorado River, as you can see, flows all the way down from Colorado down into southern Arizona. Colorado River, Great Grand Canyon. Okay, we all know how that one works. But what's very important to people is the Colorado River provides water to 8 states and Mexico. It also provides power to 5.8 million homes and businesses from Nebraska all the way to Nevada. Okay. Now, we've talked about water, we've talked about solar. These are all things that you got to figure out. Remember, guys, Southern California was a desert before they basically started pumping water in there. Where did that all come from? The Colorado River, Lake Mead. That's why Southern California is green. Okay, water dries up. Guess what? Southern California is a desert again. Now, you wonder how bad it can get. I want you to look at this picture. This is a picture of Lake Mead, or I'm sorry, not Lake Mead, Lake Powell, 2021 and 2022. That's all superimposed together here, so you can kind of take a look at both of them. But take a look at that picture, and you tell me how far the water has dropped. Okay, that is insane. If you look on there, I mean, literally, that's just 2 pictures put together in the same place. On the left-hand side, you see people walking as like it's a beach and there's water. On the right-hand side, it's nothing. And if you look on the rock there in the center, that white line, that's where the lake was, okay? Not yesterday, but going back years and years and years, okay? Not terribly back. So I want you to look at this picture. This is Lake Mead. Now, I know this area all too well because when we lived in Vegas, we got out. This is a picture of Lake Mead in 1980, all right? And I want you to really pay attention to those two towers and see how high the water is on those two towers, okay? Because now I want to show you a picture of Lake Mead in 2022. Same two towers. Hey, like that, okay? You think the lake has dropped a little bit? This is the water source for 8 states. This is the power source from Nebraska to Nevada, okay? As the lake keeps dropping, this is where the problems come in. Where is the water going to come from? Now, they've done all this cloud seeding, right? You know, we heard from the Chinese about guaranteed good weather for, what was it, the 2008 or 2012 Olympics. I forget which one it was that Beijing had. But, oh, we guarantee good weather because they did all this cloud seeding. We hear about HARP and everything all over the time, though HARP was supposedly decommissioned in 2015. I don't buy that for a second, okay? You'll have all the climate change activists say this is all because of man, okay? Well, you know, cloud seeding is because of man. So I might actually agree with them for a change. But this is, you know, what you look at. As, I mean, it's just, you know, people say, oh, this doesn't exist or whatever would be. You know, right now, according to the federal government, there is a 1 in 3 chance that Lake Powell's level will be too low in 2023, next year, for the plant to generate electricity. Okay, that's according to the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation. All right, and this is a report they put out last September. Like I said, at full capacity, it generates electricity for 5.8 million homes. So that's 5.8 million homes and businesses that would have zero power, okay? Supposedly, this is the worst drought in 1,200 years. Add this to all the other fiascos going on, okay? I mean, I've talked about it. Danny at Deep South Homestead, I know I keep referencing him, but Danny knows his stuff, has talked about at length the geoengineering of the weather in Texas to increase the winds, which of course is increasing tornadoes and everything like that in Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, all that, okay? You know, and then comes up to Tennessee, thanks, okay? But they need to create more wind for all this wind power. They can't create more sunshine. But, gee, if we can back off the clouds, think about this. If we can back off the clouds, more sun can come through for solar generators. But where does rain come from? Rain comes from clouds. And if they are actually geoengineering to keep the clouds away and put everybody in a drought, what's going to happen? Guys, we talk about this all the time, about have everything, your backup sources done. Water, power, whatever would be. Water is crucial, all right? You know, 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water. I don't have to tell you guys this. What do you do on day 4? How are you going to get water? You need to solve that problem. Rain barrels are great, but if it doesn't rain, they're bone dry. What was it? 6 months ago, I showed you guys a map of what the World Economic Forum wanted to do to move everybody to the cities and let most of the country go back to natural ways. That would be Southern California, Arizona, going back to being a desert. Remember what we've talked about many times, causing a problem and then being the solution. It's very, very probable that the elites of the world, the politicians, the uber rich, the New World Order folks, are causing the problem. Water, power, etc., food, fires, okay? So they can be the solution to move us all to the cities, which I have talked about many times. There's plenty of food here. There's plenty of water here. You don't have to stay out there and suffer. If you plan on holding out, like most of us probably do, being in a prepping mindset, you have to have solutions for this. Figuring out how to get water, okay? Out in California, the desalination plants, there's a way you can desalinate water yourself, okay? There's videos. I obviously can't do it because I don't have anything salt lake around me or, an ocean nearby. But there's plenty of channels that have videos on how to build a small desalination setup so you can get fresh water out of it. Now, depending on the scale, it may not be big enough to water a garden. But if you can do it with a couple of 55-gallon drums, yeah, it could be. I mean, you don't need, depending on how big a garden is, a couple of 100 gallons of water once a week. There's your 1 to 2 inches, okay? So something to think about, guys, but definitely pay attention to this and make your plans accordingly. Not saying leave the West Coast because the East Coast isn't going to be any better, okay? A lot more people out here. Just wanted to give you something to think about. Have a good Friday. Pinball out.